What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dean, aka the Blue Crusader, and because we've just hit 50,000 subscribers, today what I'm going to be showing you is a brand new updated setup tour of the whole workspace that I'm using to edit my videos and record my videos, and all the hardware which I just play games on when I'm recording Minecraft or other games and making videos. I did a vote a while back asking people what they wanted for a 50,000 subscriber special, and most people wanted to see my whole editing workspace, how I make the videos, how I make everything, and how the whole workflow and the whole process works. So I'm going to be showing you the very basic side of things and also giving you an updated look on the computer, the hardware after a few months of it all being set up, and show you what we're working with right now. So without further ado, let's jump into the setup tour video. Boom, there's the 50k. So I can't focus for some reason on the camera right now. Like I can zoom quite far in, but for some reason the focus is like really out of bounds. It's not letting me actually show the actual focus text, but you should be able to see that right there. Now the last few milestone videos for 20k, 30k, I just did random Minecraft style videos, but I felt like doing a whole setup tour would probably be better. But I'm pretty happy with the 50k. I have released 2 top 10 videos the past few days. I will be back to some more Minecraft, but I'm currently recording an 100 days in RLcraft video and some videos on the server, so that will be back to normal soon. So before I actually give like a showcase and tour of the actual PC setup again, I am actually going to show you the whole editing workspace. So this is just one example right now. This is actually a top 10 video. If you want to know what specific video this is actually one that I released yesterday, which is the top 10 free PC games on Steam. This is just basically 10 of the best free to play games from this year. So this is an editing example of this video, the whole process of making this video. So as you can see, there's not many tracks on the timeline that I'm working with. Most of these edits are really basic, unless obviously it's like a really complicated series. So I have one timeline at the top here, which is for the text. These are all text layers over here, like titles. So if we go over it, this is basically the text where it says number 9, etc. And then behind it, on track number 2, this is just random audio. So where this green screen thing is, this like green layer, that's basically like my overlay. So where it says subscribe, that's the green screen overlay. I've just added a green screen effect to it so you don't see the green behind it. And then obviously the audio is the sounds for like clicking the subscribe buttons and stuff. So that's the first 2 layers of the editing track. And then obviously on the 3rd layer, this is where the footage goes. So obviously in this case, it's the footage of this game which I'm playing, which is PlanetSide 2. And this is obviously not my footage. I use this under fair use for the video. But the 3rd track is basically the footage layer. So you'll see the footage, like the games, with the text over it, and then you'll see the intro. And then basically all the footage in the video is on the 3rd layer. Then underneath this layer, if there's audio from the actual game that needs to be in the video, I'll put it on this layer and then put the commentary on the layer underneath. But since top 10 videos are just basically gameplay without actual gameplay sound, it's just commentary, I do have the commentary on the 4th layer. So the commentary goes here, as well as the sound over here. You should be able to see this little thing that's highlighted. This is the sound for my intro. So the commentary and also the intro and outro sounds go on the 4th track line in a top 10 video, and then music goes on the 5th line here because this is an audio track. So that's how I actually put my music on. And then that's it. There's only like 4 or 5 tracks in the video. There's not really many tracks to any of my edits, really. They're actually quite basic. Now this is just the example of one top 10 video. This is not even a Minecraft video. I will give you a Minecraft example in a few moments. This is Sony Vegas. So people have been asking me what I use to edit my videos. I'm not going to do any tutorials in editing because I'm not exactly a professional. I just do really basic edits. But this is Sony Vegas. So I'm just going to quickly open a Minecraft video, a Minecraft top 10 video. And I'm not going to show you specifically how I make them because I know a lot of people will probably end up copying the process. But as you can see, this is a Minecraft top 10 video, exactly the same format. There's only literally 4 or 5 different tracks here. It's exactly the same format as the top 10 which I just showed you. We have the Minecraft footage here, we have the commentary under it, and then the music underneath that. So it's a really simple setup which I'm using. And sometimes this little button here, which is really useful because I actually have 2 monitors. So if I press this tiny button here, I don't know if you can see what it says, but basically it says video preview on external monitor. If I press that, you'll see that it actually previews the whole video that I'm editing on the second screen, and I can use that to like sync the audio or just watch what's happening on the second screen so it's much bigger, because this is obviously a 1080p screen. So that really helps with editing. I really couldn't imagine editing on one monitor. So that's Sony Vegas. So that's the editing setup. This is kind of like the workflow or the workspace of everything, the editing. And then I have Photoshop. So I showed you the first video, which was the top 10 free PC games. This is my Photoshop setup. Okay, so I have a few basic layers down here as well. Like I said, for some reason this camera it's really good to focus and like record with, especially with my face, but for some reason it really doesn't like focusing on digital things. So that's a little bit of a problem with showing this video, so I'm gonna have to basically say what it says. So layer 2, this is basically the Steam logo. So if I hide that and show that, that's just like the Steam logo on the thumbnail. And then the second layer down here, this is text that says top 10 free games. So as you can see, this is that big text there. And then the last layer is basically the background layer here, which is the image. So if I hide that, obviously that's just the gameplay image which I've pasted there, which makes the thumbnail look good. So that's a really basic thumbnail template. I do have a thumbnail template. You can see this is just me editing the text. I could type in anything here. I do have a thumbnail template for every type of video I make. This is just top 10 template. So that's just kind of like a quick behind the scenes on the actual editing process and thumbnail process. Obviously, I have old tutorials on making thumbnails, and I'm not gonna make any tutorials on how I specifically make my videos, but that's like kind of like a quick idea how I do it. And as you can see, I'm basically doing daily videos or videos every 2 days right now. This video is actually doing quite well right now, so thanks for anyone who's watching this video. I'm actually quite happy with how this turned out. I did a video on the Escape and Run Parasites mod, which is a mod showcase. Already got like 7k views. This was only like 1 or 2 days old, so I'm actually quite happy with how that video is going. So now let's jump on to showing off the actual hardware and the PC, because I have done this in an older video, but a lot of people keep asking me to do an updated video or show them if they haven't seen the old one. So I'm just going to give you a quick look over all of the actual hardware that I've actually got. So this is actually the PC setup itself. So you can see this is the whole desk and PC setup. This did actually cost quite a few £1,000s to actually make, and I built this 2 or 3 months ago. If you do want to see the whole room building process and the whole setup building process, I will link that video down below, because it's a really nicely edited video with a time lapse showing how I built the whole room and the setup inside the room, as well as unboxing all the products, reviewing them, and also the PC build video will be in the link in the description below too, because I show you in 2 different videos. I show you how to build a gaming PC and also basically a showcase of mine. So I was really happy with those 2 videos. So if you do want to get more information, you can check those out too. So this is my PC setup right now. I'm really happy with it. Obviously it's not the prettiest PC setup in terms of the aesthetics and showcase. There are obviously better PC setups in terms of how it looks, but in terms of hardware and simplicity, I'm actually really happy with how this turned out. So this is the setup which I'm using for my videos. As you can see, I have a really basic cheap gaming chair here. I can't remember what company it was. It was just some Chinese gaming chair, but this is super comfortable. This is pretty cool. I was on a really cheap flimsy wooden chair for the longest time, so that's a real big upgrade for me, because my old setup was a really bad PC and a really bad chair, which definitely gave me back issues for a few years. Then the keyboard. This is another cheap keyboard. I don't really like to waste money on hardware that I don't need to invest in. So for an example, this is just another cheap Chinese keyboard. This is called EG. The brand is called EG. This is a pretty cool keyboard. I mean, it has some basic functions. So for an example, as you can see, it does have all these flashing lights, which is pretty cool, which just flicker and just like move about and kind of like reverb. It's basically just strobing gamer lights, which is really cool. So I'm really happy with this keyboard. It's like such a basic brand and it was quite cheap, but it does its job, and I've tried to keep it clean because I used to always eat at my desk before, and my keyboard ended up looking really dirty and messy. So I'm quite happy that I've kept this in good shape along with the rest of my desk. The only things which do need cleaning on my desk is a few of these like rings. You might be able to see them because the camera's pretty good quality. I have a few of these rings where I've put like a hot drink on, like a cup of tea, but apart from that, the actual rest of the desk is actually really clean. So that's the keyboard, just a really basic keyboard. It works fine, completely fine. There's no need to invest in like a really expensive Logitech keyboard. Then here's my phone. This is the Hawaii P30. It has nothing to do with the setup at all. I literally just put this here just because it looks neat and looks really nice. And then for my mouse, I am using the Logitech G502 Hero. This is a pretty nice mouse. I have run into a few problems with it recently though. So basically this mouse is really cool in the sense that on the bottom, one, it does actually have interchangeable weights. So if you do want to put a few different weights in to make it heavier, then you can do, if you want the mouse not to be as light, because it's kind of moderate weight. It's not too light and it's not too heavy. It's a really nice mouse, and also has a few buttons. So it has this main side button here, and which is this little button at the front, and then it also has these two above ones too. So it has three buttons on the side. It has these two buttons here which change the DPI of the mouse, which are there, and then also the scroller, and also you can click in the scroller and use that as a button too. So I've also kept the mouse pretty clean, so I'm quite happy with that. So that's a really nice mouse. I am starting to have problems with double clicking issues though, because I've been double clicking on Minecraft repeatedly and other games to make things quicker, and it's kind of wearing the mouse down in only like 2 months of use. So I'm probably gonna have to end up buying another one, which is another reason why next time I'll probably just buy a cheap mouse and not invest, because this costed like 30 or 40 pounds. So yeah, mouses, doesn't matter what brand you get, eventually you're gonna wear them down if you're clicking too much. Then I also needed an Xbox controller. So I had an Xbox controller a very long time ago, and it was a wired controller, but I did actually sell it before I moved house, because I sold most of my things just so I could not only just build a new setup, but just make things easier to move. So this is a really basic controller again, obviously a cheaper model. This is a Chinese brand Xbox One PC controller, which is really nice, and it just looks really cool for one, even though it's an Xbox One controller mainly. The actual ergonomics of the design is more like an Xbox 360 controller. And for anyone who doesn't know, if you're too young or if you didn't have a 360, the Xbox 360 controllers are some of the most comfortable, easy to use controllers. I really like the PS4 controllers as well, but the Xbox 360 controllers for me are the best game controllers out there, so don't at me about that or complain, because that's just a fact. But yeah, basically, this is a wireless controller, so you do have a battery pack on the back, and I do have batteries in those, so you do have to put batteries in this controller. But that routes into a special USB. As you can see here, I have this like USB gadget thing, and basically I plug this in my computer and then it relays like a Bluetooth signal or something, and it lets the controller be wireless. So that's really cool to have a wireless controller, because you'll see in a moment that I don't really have the best cable management on this computer, and I do have a problem with wires. So that was just another way to keep my PC setup in check. Then down here, I do also have some speakers, but for me, I always use headphones because we have a lot of people in the house and I don't want to make noise. And also, there's literally no point to use speakers if you have headphones. So that's the reason why I never use these speakers. These are some of the cheapest speakers as well. Even though I have a nice setup, you'll see in a few moments that most of the money's gone into actually building the computer and the audio for the videos. In terms of like keyboard and speakers, they were the cheaper options because I just didn't see the point in spending more money on them. These were like £10, really cheap, the most basic speakers I could get. I literally just got these in case like maybe a friend visits, or in case like my headphones break and I need speakers. That's literally it. But since I don't use speakers, that's why I just got the cheapest I could find. So that's pretty cool. Now let's look at the audio, okay? So the audio setup is a little bit more complex. So I used to use a Blue Snowball, which was the USB microphone. But if you go back into my old videos, comparably, obviously not compared to the audio right now because I'm using the standard audio from a camera, so it's not going to be the best quality in this video that I'm recording right now. But in my usual videos, I use a really good microphone. But my old microphone, the Blue Snowball, was comparably really worse than what I now have. And that was USB. But basically, I've got this Scarlett Focusrite. I think it's called the Scarlett Focusrite 2i2. And it's basically an audio interface. So for microphones that are XLR, this is an XLR cable instead of a USB microphone. Basically, you need an audio mixer or an audio interface. A mixer has so many more dials and options on. This is just an audio interface. You can only change like really basic things on this. So you can change like the gain. You can add a few different effects on and basically just monitor the audio with headphones in the slot on the right hand side. This is basically just to use the microphone, because the microphone, which I'll also show you here, this microphone's on like a boom arm on the side of my desk. So I can just basically just swivel it in and arch it wherever I want to and just record with it. So basically this microphone has an XLR cable which goes into the actual back of the microphone, and then that XLR cable routes from here into this audio interface, and that basically converts the microphone signal into a digital signal, because this is kind of like an analog signal or some kind of normal microphone signal that the PC couldn't usually read unless you have an audio interface to convert it from analog to digital. There's obviously a better way to describe that, but I'm not an audio engineer, so people in the comments will probably explain that better. And then, like I said before, I do have two monitors. These are also pretty cheap too. If you noticed before that my keyboard was by this company called EG, I've actually only just noticed and connected the dots that my monitors are also from this same company, EG. So if you look down here, it also says EG here. I'm not sure if you can tell. But yeah, basically these monitors, they're 144Hz monitors, so that means that if you have a game on VSync, basically the max FPS that your eye can see is 144Hz, or the maximum FPS that your monitor can handle is whatever hertz your monitor is. So this will go up to 144Hz and 144 FPS, for an example. That's the best way I can describe it, but basically I had a 60Hz monitor before, so I couldn't really visualize higher FPS, and since I've got a good machine now, it only made sense to upgrade the monitor. Also, just a little side note, because I know I'm going to get asked this in the comments. If anyone's really curious and wondering why do you have this animated background and how did you get it, there was this software called Wallpaper Engine, and I knew of it, but I didn't know if it was any good. But my friend actually told me about the software. So my friend Ludi told me to actually get the software Wallpaper Engine, and he said it was like really good. And basically, I'm not going to show you this for long because it's kind of sidetracking the video, but basically this software, you can download loads of different wallpapers, and then if I just click one of them, for an example, I can change my wallpaper to that, which is pretty cool. I've just downloaded this new wallpaper that you saw right now, so I want to obviously use this. But yeah, so you can download these really nice animated wallpapers. It's kind of like an animated loop. So when you go on your desktop, you have this really cool thing. So if anyone wonders where this wallpaper is from, this is from Life is Strange, which I personally think is one of the best story games out there. I really love that game. And this is the main character, Max. But yeah, just an animated wallpaper, which I really liked. Before I actually get onto the computer and actually the specs, I am going to show you the setup which I have behind the computer. So you know how I said the cable management was not good at all? Well, you'll also see that on my computer, not just my workspace. This is probably something in the future where I'm going to have to hire someone to do the cable management for me, or maybe take my computer to a PC store to actually route the cables better, because I'm really bad at that, especially since I've only built 2 computers. I still need to learn how to do that. But basically I have a tripod, which I put on my camera here, and then I have this ring light which obviously lights up my face, so there's actual lighting, and there's a little bit of a notch here. As you can see, there's like a little bit of a notch or dial, and you twist it, and from left to right you can make the light brighter or the light dimmer. So that's obviously how I control the light levels for my face, and how I make the face cam look better and higher quality, because without lighting the face cam looks really bad in gameplays. And then I mount my camera here, and that kind of just shoots through the ring light. I did used to mount my camera on this thing because it's also like a camera tripod mount, but recently this thing fell off and my camera nearly broke, and the camera cost me like £500, so I decided I'm not going to trust this thing, because you can see that it swivels and you can't even tighten it very easily. You have to twist it like quite a lot, and then it's also in a really bad place. So I decided just to use my normal tripod behind it, so that's just for safety. Now I can't show you my camera because I'm right now recording with it, but basically my camera is a Canon camera, and it uses a mini HDMI cable, which is this, and it plugs into the side of the camera, and then this mini HDMI cable goes all the way into the back of the computer. And I'm not sure if you can see behind this abysmal wiring which I've set up here, but you might be able to see this an Elgato card here. Maybe I can like focus my camera on it. Basically there's an Elgato HD60 Pro here, which is a capture card, and this is basically built into my PC. I fit this into my PC, and you'll see over here this cable here, which I'm moving with my finger, this is a HDMI cable. So the mini HDMI which went into my camera that I just showed you goes into a normal HDMI, and then that goes into this capture card thing here, which is built into my PC, and that basically lets me keep my camera on, and then I can see the camera display on my PC. So I can show my face cam on the PC, and instead of recording on my camera and wasting the battery, I can just record my face cam on software on the computer, and it'll be just the same quality. So that's a professional way of getting a good quality face cam instead of using a webcam like I used to. So that was probably one of the biggest things which increased my quality when I bought this new camera. So that's the tripod and the lighting setup, and then here's just some absolutely terrible like plugs and stuff and routing. And obviously we've recently moved in here, so I still have things in boxes because we're quite new to this house. But you can see down here I do actually have my gaming laptop here, over here, which is I think is turned off right now. I never use this laptop at all. I literally just use this when I travel, and obviously since it's COVID I can't travel, so it's just kind of sitting there. But I do plan to use it obviously if I travel in the future, and to kind of do work on the go if I don't have my main computer yet. So I am obviously going to use that at some point. So moving on to the PC. So this is just an idea of all the wiring and stuff. This is just kind of basic boring stuff. So let's go to the front. So basically, this is a huge case, okay? This actually weighs quite a lot on its own, and it already had 3 stock fans in the front of the case, okay? Like I said, ignore all these boxes because these are all computer part boxes from when I built my PC like 1 or 2 months ago. But yeah, we have 3 factory fans in the front of the case, and I bought 3 new fans to fit into the case. So now I have 3 unused fans just in a box, so I'm probably going to sell them or fit them into a new case if I ever buy one. But this is an absolute beast, okay? This case is huge, and it has tempered glass on the side panels and also on the front. There's like a tempered glass pane here which is really thick, and as you can see, this is very reflective. This is the side case, which is actually magnetized, so you just put your thing here and pull a little bit and it just opens, which is going to be a problem if I try and ship my PC or try and move it at some point. I'm probably going to have to tape up all around this case, so that's going to be a bit of a hazard. I probably should have thought about that when I bought the new case. But yeah, I'm going to give you a little bit of a sneak preview inside the computer case because I know that's what a lot of people have been waiting for, and then I'm going to show you my really poor cable management after that. So this is the PC. So I was one of the people lucky enough, fortunately, it took me an extra like 2 or 3 months, but basically when the first RTX graphics cards came out, I ordered a 3080 on pre-order. Never came. I was waiting like 3 months for it, so I managed to get a refund, and I was really lucky on Amazon to get some of the first stock of the RTX 3090. So where this says GeForce RTX, this is an RTX 3090. This is a Palette Gaming Pro. So this is one of the Asian brands, and it's an absolute beast. I can literally run any game on ultra graphics on this thing. I could run Minecraft with like crazy like realistic shaders, which I've done videos on. This thing is just crazy. It has like 21 gigabytes of VRAM or something. It's just kind of overkill, and it costs like 1,600 euros or something. I literally just bought this just so I don't really have to upgrade it for a long time. So yeah, that's overkill. So unless they bring out some kind of new technology that just crushes this, which they probably will in like 2 years, then I'm not going to bother upgrading it for a while because this is an absolute beast. So that's the RTX 3090. Then there's the Elgato. This is the inside of the computer. So that's that capture card I showed you that the camera plugs into. It's just basically like a chip that goes into the PCIe slot. And then this awesome RAM, which has like strobing colors. You can't really see on the camera very well, but this RAM changes colors. These 2 long sticks here, that's RAM. Each of them are 16 gigabytes because I do have 32 gigabytes of RAM. And then over here where it's Corsair, this also has changing RGB lights too. This is the base of the CPU cooler, which sits on the CPU, and then these cables route up and they go into a little radiator on the head of the case, and these are RGB fans too, which cools the actual CPU. So this took me absolutely hours to build. I think I was actually building this PC for a good 6 hours because my first PC was basic cheap parts because I was quite poor when I built my first computer. So it was really straightforward to build, and like all of the PC tutorials just basically fit what I was building. But this time, these are complex parts. So a CPU cooler, you have to fit it onto the motherboard with a bracket, then you have to mount it on the bracket, and then you have to mount this onto the top of the case, this radiator, and then mount both the fans onto the radiator and plug in special cables like this thing on the side, which you might not even be able to see here, which goes into like a special motherboard slot and like a fan controller. And then you have to plug in like 100 different component cables and fans and fan headers and all these controller like cables and stuff into your computer. It took absolutely hours. It was kind of depressing if I'm honest, but when I actually got it done, super happy about that. So that's the PC. Definitely cost a lot of money, but definitely worth the investment because it's increased the quality of the content by tenfold. The quality of my videos from like 3 months ago compared to now, definitely worth the investment. Okay, so this is the other side of the case. This is basically the last part of the video because this is the rest of the computer. So here is 2 hard drives. So these are 2 mounted hard drives. One of them is 4 terabyte, and then the other one I think is 1 terabyte from my old computer. I decided to keep like one of the hard drives, I think. Or one of them's 2 terabytes from my old PC, and then the other one's 4. So I have like 6 terabytes. And then also there's another hard drive which is on the other side, which I've just showed you, which is like, it's like a small USB stick size, and that's like a 512 MB SSD. just so Windows boots really quickly. And then this is the fan controller. So this is the Corsair fan controller, and you plug in like all your fans into this, and it like controls them, or like basically manages the RGB lights and stuff. Really confusing stuff. And look at this cable management, absolutely horrible. I mean, to be honest, I kind of got away with this. And you can see over here, everything's kind of bundled together. I tried to use like these little cable ties and strips and kind of packed everything in, but it still caused a problem because everything's just kind of shoved in there. Even things in the power supply here are just kind of shoved in, but I tried not to make them too close to each other because I don't want to create too much heat. But yeah, basically, if I close this window of the case, you know how I told you it was magnetized earlier? This doesn't fully shut because there's just cables blocking it. So not really the best work, not really God's work at all, but I did a pretty good job with that. So that's basically it, guys. That is the setup. That is the Blue Crusaders YouTube setup at around 50,000 subscribers and below. So this setup has probably got me from like 30,000 to 50,000. I saw a lot more growth after I started upgrading everything because it was really worth the investment. But I didn't have all this hardware all this time on YouTube. So for everyone who obviously says you need the best gear, my channel definitely took a long time to grow and still is taking a long time to grow. But I started off with pretty bad gear. I had a blue snowball. I had like a 1060 and graphics card with like an i5 processor, which wasn't very good. I had really cheap screens. Basically everything before this was really cheap because I've never really been rich, but obviously I've been really happy with you know, what I've got from YouTube to finally upgrade it and obviously give myself something that's really high quality and obviously helps with the videos. So this is just kind of an investment for the channel, but I'm really happy with what we can do with this. So for anyone who's been asking me about the setup, this is the setup, probably the final setup video, which I'll do for a while unless people just ask me again. But yeah, so this is the 50,000 subscriber special. So thanks for everyone who's been subscribing and anyone who does subscribe and share the videos and obviously leaves comments and likes the videos. The support obviously means a lot. Obviously, I do see a lot of the regular people who comment and like the videos, who drop in the Discord, people who are like on Patreon and join the server. That's super awesome. I do try and reply to all the comments, so I do obviously see everyone who does comment, so just wanted to let everyone know. But yeah, that's the setup. Really happy with it. If you have any more questions about like the computer and how I did stuff, there will be the videos linked below for that. Leave any comments or questions you want and any suggestions, and I'll be back with some more Minecraft and other gaming stuff throughout the next few days. Thanks for watching, guys. So if you enjoyed the setup tour video, make sure to press the like button below, subscribe with notifications turned on, and follow me over at the Blue Crusader on Instagram. I will be back with some Minecraft videos and other game videos in the next few days, but because we hit 50,000 subscribers, I did want to do a special video, and doing kind of like a behind the scenes vlog video only felt right, kind of to give a little bit of an update and a different alternative style of video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.